Spain stunned. Princess Leonor marries in emotional royal event 2025. Spain has witnessed countless royal events. Weddings, ceremonies, coronations, and historic speeches. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared the country for what unfolded today. A day that began like any other royal broadcast suddenly turned into one of the most emotional, unforgettable, and deeply human moments in modern Spanish history. Because just when everyone thought they understood what a royal wedding should look like, something entirely different happened. Something real, something raw, something that left Spain stunned, breathless, and in tears. And here's the twist no one expected. While millions tuned in expecting elegance and protocol, what they witnessed instead was a love story so emotional, so visibly genuine, that even the most composed members of the royal family could not hide their tears. This wasn't just a royal event. This was the moment Princess Leonor finally stepped into her own destiny, not as an heir shaped by duty, but as a young woman who chose love in front of the entire world. From the very first second the cathedral doors opened in Denmark, everything changed. The light pouring from behind Leonor framed her like a scene from a film. Her gown, a fusion of Spanish heritage and Danish symbolism, instantly became a global obsession. Every stitch carried meaning, every detail whispered identity. The veil, floating gently behind her, seemed to carry the weight of both nations' expectations, and the hope of a new generation. But what truly sent shockwaves across Spain was her expression. Calm, grounded, soft, but carrying an emotional depth that no training, no protocol, no royal instruction could mask. This wasn't the face of a princess following instructions. It was the face of a woman walking toward the love of her life. And that moment alone changed everything. Across Spain, people paused. Markets slowed. Plazas fell silent. Families gathered around televisions, phones, and screens of every size. Even Spaniards who rarely engage with royal news found themselves unable to look away. Because something felt different. Something felt historic. The first emotional hit came seconds later when the cameras captured Queen Letizia. Normally composed, assured, and impeccably measured, Letizia was visibly moved. She wasn't looking at a future queen. She was looking at her daughter. A daughter who had spent her entire life balancing the weight of a crown and the heart of a young woman growing into herself. Then the camera turned to King Felipe, a man known for his discipline, his calm leadership, and his unshakable composure. But today, Felipe was not the king. He was a father fighting a wave of emotion so strong that social media erupted the moment his face appeared. His eyes glistened, his jaw tightened, his pride was unmistakable. Spain felt it all. And yet, the most shocking emotional moment hadn't even happened yet. Because at the end of that aisle stood Prince Christian, the young Danish royal whose quiet dignity and genuine presence have captured Europe's attention over the past few years. And as Leonor walked toward him, something subtle but powerful happened. He whispered something, just a few words, impossible to catch on microphones. But the look on Leonor's face, the soft smile, the slight trembling breath, revealed enough. This was not duty. This was not strategy. This was not a carefully arranged alliance. This was love. Pure, unguarded, undeniable love. And that realization sent a visible shock through Spain. The ceremony began, and the cathedral filled with an energy that felt almost electric. Every detail mattered, the intertwining traditions, the symbolic gestures, the merging cultures. But the heart of the ceremony wasn't in the rituals. It was in the moments between them. Leonor's hand shaking slightly as Christian held it. Christian's eyes never leaving her. Letizia dabbing away tears. Felipe taking long, steady breaths. And then came the moment people are already calling the emotional peak of the entire event. Leonor paused before her vows. Not long, not dramatically, just long enough for everyone, millions watching, to sense that something important was happening. Her breath caught, her voice softened. Her eyes glistened, and Spain fell silent, because in that pause, something became clear. She wasn't speaking as the future Queen of Spain. She was speaking as Leonor, the young woman who had grown up under intense scrutiny, the girl who had been taught to stand straight, speak carefully, and carry a nation's hopes with grace. The future monarch who had mastered responsibility long before she mastered adulthood. In that moment, Spain understood her in a way they never had before. When she finally began to speak, her voice carried a depth that can only come from genuine emotion. Every word was deliberate, honest, human. For the first time, Spain wasn't watching their princess perform her duty. They were watching her live her truth. The curiosity loop deepens here, because many wondered, what exactly happened behind the scenes that led to such a raw display of emotion. Reports from palace insiders reveal that in the days leading up to the ceremony, tensions were high. Both royal households wanted to strike the perfect balance between tradition and the modern identity of the young couple. Spain wanted clarity on Leonor's future responsibilities. Denmark wanted Christian's role to be understood. And both families wanted to protect the emotional integrity of the moment. But Leonor and Christian made one request. The ceremony must be built around love, not protocol. And that single decision shaped everything. When Christian spoke his vows, his voice cracked, and the world noticed. The sincerity was unmistakable. He wasn't speaking for cameras. He was speaking to her. Directly, honestly, with all the emotion a future king is never encouraged to show. Spain felt it instantly. And then, the cathedral doors opened. A sea of Spanish and Danish flags filled the streets outside. People cheering, crying, holding hands, taking videos with shaking phones because they knew, truly knew, they were living a piece of history. This wasn't just a royal spectacle. It was a moment of unity. A blending of cultures, a merging of families, a symbolic step into the future. But the next curiosity loop comes here, because the real transformation wasn't in the ceremony. It was in what happened as they exited the cathedral. Christian placed his hand gently on Leonor's back, a subtle, protective gesture that sparked thousands of reactions online. A gesture that said, "I am here with you. I am here for you. We are in this together." Leonor looked up at him. And in that brief exchange, in the warmth of her smile, in the softness of her eyes, the entire world saw the truth. This is real, not duty, not arrangement, not convenience. Real. Spain felt it like a wave. Not sadness, not loss, but pride. Deep, overwhelming pride. Because today, Spain didn't lose a princess. Spain watched her become something even greater. A woman who carries love and leadership in the same heartbeat. This event wasn't just emotional because Leonor married. It was emotional because, for the first time, Spain truly understood her. Her strength, her vulnerability, her courage, her humanity. The world saw a royal wedding. Spain saw the beginning of a new era. And as Leonor and Christian stepped into the sunlight, hand in hand, smiling softly at the cheering crowd, one truth echoed across Spain. This wasn't just history, this was heart.